There comes a moment in every man's life when he must decide whether he will rise above the storm or be crushed beneath its weight. The mind, my friend, is the battlefield where victory or defeat is born. Every success story, every fortune built, every dream realized began not in the factory, not in the office, not in the field, but within the quiet workshop of thought. What separates the conqueror from the conquered is not talent, not circumstance, but attitude. The way you see the world determines the way the world responds to you. And until you master your mental state, until you take dominion over your own thoughts, you will forever remain a servant to circumstance. An unbreakable positive mental attitude is not a luxury, it is a spiritual law. It is the foundation upon which every enduring success is built. When you believe that life conspires for you, not against you, the very forces of the universe bend to your favor. But when you allow fear, doubt, and negativity to dominate your mind, even the smallest challenge becomes a mountain too tall to climb. The mind does not distinguish between truth and falsehood. It accepts whatever you feed it. Feed it faith, and it will yield miracles. Feed it fear, and it will produce misery. Every trial you face is an invitation to grow. Every setback conceals a seed of equal or greater benefit, waiting for your positive mental attitude to uncover it. The greatest men and women in history did not rise because life was kind to them. They rose because they refused to surrender their spirit to defeat. They looked at the storm and said, "This too shall pass." They understood that adversity is not punishment, it is preparation. It shapes, molds, and refines you until your mind becomes like steel, resilient, sharp, and unbreakable. To develop such a mind requires more than mere optimism. It demands discipline of thought, mastery of emotion, and faith in divine law. It means standing tall when everything around you crumbles. It means choosing gratitude when the world gives you nothing to be grateful for. It means walking by faith, not by sight, believing that unseen forces are guiding your steps toward a greater destiny. A positive mental attitude is not denial, it is dominion. It is the quiet inner conviction that no matter how fierce the storm, you will rise again, stronger, wiser, and closer to your purpose. And so today, I call you to rise above the noise of fear and the whispers of failure. Begin to build a fortress in your mind that nothing, no person, no setback, no disappointment can tear down. Let your thoughts be disciplined, your faith unshakable, your purpose unmovable. Because the man who controls his mind controls his destiny. The woman who guards her thoughts governs her world, and the one who walks each day with an unbreakable positive mental attitude becomes unstoppable. The mind is the master architect of destiny, and every human life is a living blueprint of thought. What you hold in your mind, what you think about most often, what you believe most deeply, becomes the reality that unfolds before your eyes. You cannot think fear and harvest faith. You cannot dwell in doubt and expect peace. Life responds to your dominant thought, like fertile soil responds to seed. If you sow seeds of failure, fear, and limitation, do not be surprised when your life yields poverty and despair. But if you plant the seeds of courage, faith, and persistence, you will reap abundance beyond measure. The law of dominant thought is as unchanging as the law of gravity. Whatever occupies your mind consistently will manifest in your actions, your character, and ultimately your results. Many men pray for success but think in failure. They ask for strength, yet entertain weakness in their imagination. They long for prosperity but keep their minds chained to lack. They cry out for freedom while feeding on fear. You cannot walk in the light while holding hands with darkness. The double-minded man, the scripture says, is unstable in all his ways. He builds one day and destroys the next. He speaks of faith, yet doubts in secret. His thoughts cancel his prayers. His words betray his desires, and his results mirror his confusion. You cannot deceive the laws of the universe. They are exact, impartial, and eternal. The energy you send out returns to you multiplied. The thought you repeat becomes your reality. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The most powerful force in your life is not your environment, your education, or even your upbringing. It is your mental attitude. Your thoughts magnetize conditions that match their nature. Positive thoughts draw positive outcomes. Negative thoughts attract defeat. This is why the poor remain poor in mind long before they become poor in wallet. It begins with how they think. They look at opportunity and see risk. They look at change and see threat. They look at success and say, that is not for me. Yet the man with a renewed mind, the one who understands the law of dominant thought, looks at the same world and sees possibility. He knows that every thought is a prayer sent to the heavens, and every prayer answered begins with belief. Look around you. Everything you see began in thought. The buildings, the machines, the art, the wealth of nations, All were first ideas in someone's imagination. The Creator himself spoke the world into existence with a word, a divine thought manifested through faith. Let there be light, and there was light. The same creative power that brought the universe into being lives within you when you align your thoughts with purpose, when you discipline your mind to hold only that which is noble, uplifting, and true. You become a co-creator with God himself. You stop reacting to life and start commanding it. You stop living by chance and start living by design. But beware, the mind is like a garden. Neglect it, and weeds of worry, doubt, and fear will take root and multiply. Guard your mind with vigilance. What you read, what you watch, whom you associate with, all of these are seeds. Choose wisely what you allow to grow within. You cannot plant thorns and expect roses. You cannot feed your mind poison and expect health. Every thought must be examined, every belief tested. Ask yourself daily, does this thought serve my vision or sabotage it? Does it lift me higher or pull me down? If it destroys your peace, it does not belong in your mind. To master the law of dominant thought is to master yourself. It means you no longer surrender control of your emotions to outside forces. When others complain, you choose gratitude. When fear whispers, you speak faith louder. When circumstances darken, you become the light. You learn to hold one great idea in your mind with such unwavering belief that the universe must eventually bend to it. You cease to think of success. You begin to think from success. You no longer wish for greatness. You begin to embody it. A man dominated by faith cannot be broken. A woman governed by gratitude cannot be defeated. When your mind is filled with thoughts of purpose, love, and perseverance, there is no room left for limitation. The law is simple and eternal. Whatever thought you persist in thinking will shape the world around you. If you would change your circumstances, first change your thoughts. Renew your mind daily, and your life will follow. Speak life, think power, believe in abundance, and the invisible will soon become visible. Because in the end, the secret of all transformation lies not in the hands of fate, but in the mastery of your mind. And the law of dominant thought is the key that unlocks every door. Faith without discipline is like a ship without a rudder. It moves, but never in the direction of destiny. Every man who seeks to build an unbreakable positive mental attitude must first learn to discipline his thoughts as a soldier disciplines his steps. The mind, when uncontrolled, becomes a restless sea, tossing between fear and faith, hope and despair, light and darkness. But when governed with understanding, it becomes the greatest servant of success ever known to mankind. The discipline of thought is not an act of chance. It is an act of choice, a decision made daily to guard the gates of your mind and to allow only that which strengthens, uplifts, and empowers to enter. The disciplined mind does not wander in the valley of fear when the mountain of faith stands before it. It does not entertain defeat. When the vision of victory burns within, it learns to reject the whispers of doubt and hold fast to the promises of truth. The book of Proverbs declares, "He that ruleth his spirit is mightier than he that taketh a city." This ancient wisdom still holds power today. The man who rules his thoughts rules his world. The woman who governs her emotions governs her destiny. No kingdom, no empire, no fortune can rise higher than the discipline of the mind behind it. It is easy to think positive when the sun shines, when the bank account grows, and when applause fills the air. But discipline is proven not in the light, but in the darkness. When failure knocks at the door, when friends vanish, when life seems to break every promise, that is when the true strength of your attitude is revealed. The undisciplined mind collapses under pressure, allowing every negative force to dominate. But the disciplined thinker stands still, unshaken, declaring, "Though the storm rages, I will not be moved." This mental steadfastness becomes the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. The power of discipline lies in repetition. Greatness is never born in moments of emotion, but in daily habits of intention. Each time you choose faith over fear, gratitude over complaint, persistence over despair, you train your mind to obey your higher self. It is written that man was created in the image of the Creator. That means you were designed with the same creative power that spoke the universe into existence. But creation does not come from chaos, it flows from order. The disciplined mind brings order to thought, focus to energy, and direction to desire. It channels the power of spirit into productive motion, transforming invisible belief into visible results. The greatest victories in life are not won in public, but in private, within the silent chambers of thought. The athlete wins long before the race begins. He wins in the discipline of early mornings, in the pain of repetition, in the choice to do what others refuse. The same law applies to your mental attitude. You cannot wake one morning and command positivity to appear. You must cultivate it daily, watering it with gratitude, pruning it with wisdom, and protecting it from the weeds of negativity. When discipline becomes your habit, faith becomes your nature. Discipline is not punishment, it is purification. It burns away weakness and reveals strength. It destroys doubt and gives birth to conviction. It takes the wandering energy of thought and molds it into the steel of determination. When you discipline your mind to think only of that which serves your purpose, you align yourself with divine intelligence. The mind becomes a tool of creation, not destruction. You stop reacting to life and start commanding it. You cease to ask for permission and begin to act with authority. The disciplined thinker does not chase opportunity, he creates it. But this mastery requires watchfulness. The mind is sly. It will seek comfort, excuse, and distraction. You must remain vigilant, for every undisciplined thought is a seed of weakness. Each time you allow anger, envy, or fear to linger, you surrender a piece of your power, yet each time you replace them with peace, admiration, and faith, you reclaim dominion over your world. The disciplined mind is not easily swayed by the opinions of others. It walks by faith, not by sight. It listens not to the noise of the crowd, but to the whisper of purpose within. Think of the sculptor chiseling a block of marble. Each strike of his tool seems destructive, yet every blow reveals beauty hidden inside. So it is with discipline. Every moment of restraint, every act of focus, every refusal to give in to negativity is a divine stroke shaping you into the image of greatness. The undisciplined man looks at the stone and sees limitation. The disciplined man looks at the same stone and sees the masterpiece waiting to emerge. When you discipline your mind, you become unstoppable. You gain clarity when others are confused, courage when others are afraid, and calmness when others panic. You become the stillness in the storm, the light in the darkness, the voice of assurance when all others tremble. And in that steadiness lies your power. The power to direct your thoughts, control your emotions, and ultimately command your destiny. The disciplined mind is not merely a tool, it is the throne of mastery. For he who conquers his mind has conquered the world. And through discipline, he learns to transform every limitation into limitless strength. The atmosphere you live in mentally determines the world you live in physically. You cannot dwell in darkness and expect light to follow you. You cannot feed your spirit with doubt and expect faith to bloom within. The human aura, that unseen field of energy surrounding every soul, is a mirror of thought. Whatever you think consistently, you attract. Whatever emotion you cultivate, you radiate. And the law of attraction, which is as certain as gravity, returns to you multiplied that which you project. If you carry fear in your heart, fear will meet you at every corner. But if you carry faith, opportunities will bow before you, for the universe itself responds to the vibration of belief. The mind is the factory. The aura is the product. If the mind is filled with disorder, confusion, and complaint, the aura becomes clouded, heavy, resistant to growth. But when the mind is lifted by gratitude, faith, and clear intention, the aura glows like a beacon. It attracts wealth not by chance, but by harmony. Remember the words of Scripture, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." The aura is the visible proof of that truth. It is your emotional echo, the spiritual fragrance of your inner world. You cannot pretend to be prosperous while harboring thoughts of lack. The world does not reward disguise. It rewards alignment. To train your aura to attract wealth, you must first cleanse it from the residue of negative emotion. Jealousy, anger, envy, and worry are poisons that dim your spiritual light. Every time you allow resentment to enter your heart, you weaken the vibration that calls abundance to you. It is impossible to attract prosperity while cursing another man's success. The law of cause and effect will not bend to your mood. It will always reflect your state of being. Therefore, train your aura through forgiveness. Bless those who wrong you. Rejoice in the victories of others. Give freely without fear of loss. For giving is the breath of receiving. When your energy becomes generous, wealth begins to flow toward you naturally. But cleansing alone is not enough. You must feed your aura with substance. Faith, gratitude, and purpose are the nutrients of the soul. Each morning before the noise of the world intrudes, affirm with conviction that abundance belongs to you, not as a wish, but as a birthright. The Creator did not design scarcity, man did. Look to nature. Trees produce without worry, rivers flow without hesitation, and the sun gives without expectation. The same principle applies to your spirit. When your aura vibrates in faith and certainty, it draws the same frequency of wealth to itself. The rich are not favored by luck, they are aligned with law. Training your aura means mastering your emotional state. Every time you think a thought of doubt, you lower your vibration. Every time you speak words of lack, you push wealth away. But every time you express gratitude, even in difficulty, you strengthen the current that carries prosperity toward you. Faith is not blind, it is visionary. It sees the unseen, believes the impossible, and holds its course when the physical eye sees no evidence. When you live in that faith, your aura becomes magnetic. It begins to pull resources, ideas, and people into your life who match your frequency. You do not need to chase success when your energy commands it to come. There are those who pray for wealth while harboring thoughts of poverty. They ask the divine for abundance, but live every day expecting loss. The universe cannot respond to contradiction. You must choose one state and live in it fully. The wealthy mind expects good, prepares for good, and acts upon good. The poor mind doubts the promise, hesitates in faith, and sabotages its own destiny. You can only attract what you truly believe you deserve. If you see yourself as unworthy of success, your aura will reflect that unworthiness, and abundance will pass you by. But the moment you affirm your divine inheritance, your vibration changes. The doors that once seemed closed begin to open. Do not mistake this law for magic. It is divine order. Just as the seed becomes a tree by law, your thoughts become reality by the same principle. Train your aura as you would train your body. Feed it daily with affirmations of truth. Protect it from the pollution of fear and gossip. Surround yourself with those whose spirits are strong, for energy is contagious. The company you keep shapes the current of your vibration. If you walk with the fearful, you will vibrate in fear. But if you walk with the faithful, your aura will shine like fire. Even in moments of hardship, do not let your energy collapse. Trials are not punishments, they are tests of faith. When you hold your vibration steady through adversity, the universe recognizes your mastery. You become a conductor of divine power, capable of manifesting wealth not just for yourself, but for others. For the highest form of prosperity is not possession. It is contribution. The aura that gives freely multiplies its strength. It becomes a river, not a reservoir. And in that flow, it finds endless supply. The training never ends. Each day demands new discipline of thought, new strength of spirit, new clarity of purpose. But every step you take in mastering your vibration draws you closer to abundance that cannot be shaken by circumstance. The wealth you seek is already seeking you. It is not waiting in banks or markets. It is waiting in your aura, waiting for you to believe, to align, to radiate the frequency of prosperity that matches the greatness already within you. The spirit is the command center of all creation. The body may toil, the mind may reason, but the spirit governs the unseen forces that shape a man's destiny. Wealth, health, and peace are all reflections of the spirit's strength and purity. A disciplined spirit is a magnet for prosperity, while a restless, undirected spirit invites confusion and lack. To train your aura for lasting prosperity, you must first master your inner world, because the world outside is only a mirror of the world within. You cannot create harmony in your finances if chaos reigns in your soul. The discipline of the spirit is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. Every man and woman is born with spiritual power, but few ever learn how to use it. Most drift through life like a ship without a compass, tossed by emotion, enslaved by fear, distracted by pleasure, and destroyed by doubt. But the ones who rise, the ones who walk with purpose and authority, are those who have learned to govern their inner state. They have mastered the art of stillness amidst the storm. They have trained their spirit to respond, not react, to create, not complain. This mastery does not come from luck, nor does it come from mere effort. It comes from conscious spiritual discipline, the daily training of the soul to obey truth, not emotion. The same way an athlete trains the body, a successful man trains his spirit. He strengthens his faith, purifies his thoughts, guards his emotions, and aligns his energy with divine law. The scriptures teach, be still, and know that I am God. That stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of mastery. When your spirit is still, when your mind is centered in faith, the world bends to your vibration. Opportunities appear where others see obstacles. Guidance comes in moments of silence. You stop chasing success and begin to magnetize it. Spiritual discipline is the daily communion between your consciousness and the infinite mind. It is prayer, not of desperation, but of alignment. It is meditation, not to escape life, but to command it. When your inner being is trained to hold faith in the face of fear, gratitude in the midst of scarcity, and peace in times of pressure, you become unshakable, and the aura around you becomes unbreakable. The undisciplined man prays for wealth but entertains thoughts of poverty. He asks for wisdom but listens to the voice of fear. He says he believes in abundance but acts as if the world is against him. His spirit is divided, and therefore his results are scattered. But the disciplined man prays once and believes always. His word and his will are one. He does not move in anxiety because he knows the law is already working in his favor. His aura glows with confidence, not because he is arrogant, but because he is anchored in truth. Spiritual discipline is not about religion. It is about alignment. It is the practice of living every day as if the promise of prosperity has already been fulfilled. This training demands consistency. You cannot discipline your spirit once and expect eternal results. Each sunrise is an invitation to renew your faith, to strengthen your vibration, to cleanse your heart of worry and pride. Guard the gates of your mind. Protect your energy as you would your fortune. Surround yourself with words, people, and habits that lift your spirit higher. For your aura takes shape from the company you keep and the conversations you entertain. If you dwell among the fearful, your light will dim. But if you walk with the faithful, your power multiplies. A disciplined aura does not bow to the noise of the world. It commands it. It does not beg for success. It summons it. When you live in spiritual order, wealth cannot help but follow. Prosperity is not a pursuit. It is a reflection. It mirrors the strength of your discipline. Money is only one form of energy, and like all energy, it obeys spiritual law. The disciplined man respects his word, honors his vision, and acts with integrity even when unseen. He does not waste time in envy or complaint, because he knows the energy he gives returns to him multiplied. He works not from greed, but from purpose. He understands that the more his spirit gives, the more his aura expands, and the larger his aura, the greater his capacity to attract abundance. This is the secret behind every empire, every fortune, every legacy built to last beyond a single lifetime. There will be times when discipline feels like sacrifice, when faith feels like foolishness, when giving feels like loss. But those are the moments that forge spiritual steel. Every great soul has walked through the valley of delay before reaching the mountaintop of destiny. Patience is the furnace where power is refined. The disciplined spirit does not panic in delay. It praises. It does not retreat in hardship. It rises. The aura trained by discipline does not depend on circumstance. It creates circumstance. It does not rely on what is seen. It commands what is unseen. That is why the strongest men and women do not fear loss, because they know they are the source, not the result. Their energy is their currency, and no recession can touch that kind of wealth. The power that governs the universe is the same power that lives within you. To train your aura for lasting prosperity is to come into union with that divine force, to live in conscious partnership with the laws of creation. You must feed your faith daily and starve your fear continually. You must make gratitude your language and purpose your compass, for the spirit that is disciplined in thought, pure in heart, and unwavering in will becomes a vessel of abundance. Not just for itself, but for all it touches. Wealth then ceases to be a goal and becomes a natural expression of divine order flowing through a man who has learned the highest art of all, the discipline of his own spirit.